Hi everybody, it's Peg, and it is time for September's Pick a Stick Challenge. I'm just trying to pick out the paper that I'm going to use. I first thought I'd use this paper that I had painted originally, and then I thought, no, that's too dark. I'm in a cheerier mood today, so I just got out a piece of watercolor paper, and that's what I decided to use. So, this month, our darling Lizzie was the one that did the pick for us, and Thursday, which was yesterday, she was going to the hospital to deliver her brand new baby boy. So hopefully everything's gone well, and we have a new baby in the house. So number one step says use a color you never use. Well, I don't know that there is a color that I never use. I like color, and I use a lot of different colors, but when I was looking at colors, I thought, I don't use blue very often because blue just isn't my thing. I like turquoise, but blue not so much. So I got out some blue paint and I decided to use that. And then the next step, which is step number 2, says to use a non-tool. Well, I looked around my desk and I had some bubble wrap sitting there, and I still had some other colors of blue paint. These are the Diane Reevely paints in a pot, and I need to use them up, so I thought, okay, I'll just do that. Step number 3 says add acrylic paint using your fingers. So yeah, I did a little finger painting. I had 3 different colors of that blue-green kind of family. So that's what I did. Now step 4 says add waffle paper. Well, I don't have waffle paper, but what I do have is this burlap textured off-white paper. So I just took a circle punch and punched out some circles and used a Yoo-hoo glue stick and glued them down on my page. Yoo-hoo glue sticks are a really good glue. You see it looks blue, but when it dries it's not going to have a color to it, and I like that because I can see where I've put the glue, and then I can also see that it is dry when the blue color goes away. So okay, so there's my waffle quote burlap textured paper, and I'm just getting it to stick down flat. Now the next step says remove color through a stencil. Well, in order to remove color through a stencil, you got to have some wet color on the page. So I go back to that blue paint and paint those circles that I just put down, and then I grab a stencil. So the stencil I choose is a Tim Holtz stencil from Stampers Anonymous, and I'm sticking with that circle theme. You can't really see a whole lot here because the paint is kind of soaked into that raw paper, but there is a little bit of removal, and that's what I was going for. Now the next step says collage tissue paper or wrapping paper. So I have some tissue paper, and one of my tips is if you're going to punch out tissue paper, put a piece of text weight paper behind it. It makes punching so much easier because tissue paper does not work with punches very well at all. So I'm just getting some gel medium and gluing those circles of tissue down on my journal page. And the tissue was just a plain piece of tissue paper that I had stamped some white snowflakes onto. So printed tissue paper does not mean that you have to go out and buy another tissue paper. If you have a tissue paper and some stamps or some other way of printing on it, say with a printer or something like that, you know, this is where you use your imagination and come up with ways of using the things that you have. Well, I like that so much I just went ahead and punched some more and put them on the page. So we have lots of tissue circles now. Step 7 says cut out words or phrases from any printed source. Well, I have a lot of quotes and things that I like, and yeah, they're a source for me. So I printed it out and I cut it out. Well, I didn't really cut it out, I tore it out of my sheet of paper, and I'm just using some gel medium to glue it down on the page. And of course, there's my first mistake. That stuff wasn't dry yet, and I put it on that paper, and so it kind of tore it a little bit. So now I'm taking some time to dry some of those things, because when they're damp, they stick to things. So just fixing a few little boo-boos, and that's okay. You know, everything's not perfect. It's a journal page, you know. So it says use something from an opposite season for number 8. And here is my dilemma. Opposite season. September here is, the first 20 days of September is summer. The last is fall. So I thought, okay, there's more summer in September than there is fall, so I'm going to make the opposite winter. So I used some snowflakes and some trees and some snow, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's wintry. So that's what we've got going on. So step 9 says use black gesso paint to cover something up. Well, I wasn't ready for that yet because I wanted to make my snow glimmer. So you guys may not, you may think that this is real overkill, but I like my glimmer and glam. And you know, if you look at the stickles, there's a lot of different stickles that kind of look the same, but they're really not. And I used a couple of different types on here. The frosted lace is one type. The rock candy is another type. The diamond is another type. The crystal is another type. The distress picket fence is another type. So I used a couple. I used the picket fence on the snowflakes because I thought it gave more of a snow effect on the snowflake. It's like flakes on flakes. So that's what I used on there. And then I also used the, which one did I use? I used the crystal on the trees because it had more of a little greenish tint to it, green, red, you know, had a little more shimmer in a color. And I thought, well, the trees, because they have a little depth to them, should have a little more color, even though this is a clear or white. What I did first, though, is I grabbed some pearl glaze and put that over the tree so that the trees had a pearly effect to start with before I added the shimmer to them. And then, you know, I added a little more shimmer to everything in the background, and yeah, I like my glitter. So there goes the distress, and you can see it gives it kind of a white, flaky, snowflakey effect. And when I do the close-up pictures, you'll be able to see what effect that makes. Yeah, they're all clear or white, but they are just a little bit different. And yeah, I had to have every single one of them, didn't I? Yeah, it's pretty and it shines. So once I get that onto my trees, I end up spreading it out with my finger because I didn't like just the outline. I wanted it to kind of give a little bit of more depth to the trees. So there's my black gesso. I just kind of smeared it down on the side because I didn't really want black everywhere. And I'm adding a little snow angel, because my quote says, when it snows, you have two choices, shovel or make snow angels. So I made a little snow angel. Isn't she cute? And let's see, what's next? Oh, I have to sign my page, pick a stick for 916. And the last thing was to use black marker or pen. I used a little bit to shade what I want to call the north side of those trees, just to make them pop up off of the page a little bit. And then I also shaded the little snow angel a little bit and added kind of cloud effects around my saying. And that pretty much finishes it for this month. So I hope you guys joined us. Remember that there is a giveaway, so post your photos so that we can all see what you made. Maybe you'll be the winner chicken dinner. And be sure and give Lizzie and her family your best wishes, because I know she's got to be jumping for joy with that little darling baby in her arms. And snow angels to you all. Bye for now.